End of the manhunt for Christopher Dorner. The civilian head of that commission told Phil Schuman that a review of the LAPD's firing policies will be a positive step forward.
No system is perfect, so this gives us an opportunity to look at the various parts of the system and see if improvements are necessary, or maybe more explanation of the system. Because it is no longer public.
Should it be public?
I don't know. Certainly the law right now is that it's not. Right. But laws can be changed.
All right, that's Andrea Orton, the head of the police commission. Some people question how much impact the police commission really has on all of this, as you know. Robin Sachs is with us. You have been really investigating the ins and outs of this case.
Right. Well, Phil Schuman and I did a little bit of divide and conquer yesterday. Okay. He went and met with Andrea Orton while I went over to listen to what the chief had to say. And while he was talking about what the commission was going to do, which is what you just heard, I was listening to what the chief had to say. And what the chief was saying was, which was, as Jane Velez Mitchell would say, bombshell, right? Mm-hmm. She was saying that, or excuse me, he was saying that not only are they going to look into the Dorner case, but they are going to consider opening up the investigation in other termination cases, which all I can say is woohoo us, because I think that because we have been following these stories and telling these officers stories, that there is now a real look-see that's being done by the LAPD and the commission.
You have been hearing from officers and former officers?
Right. I mean, we've been getting all around this newsroom, not just me, but you know, Christine Devine and Gina Silva and Phil Schuman and myself. Every time we go on and tell a story, it ends up filling up our email boxes with all kinds of things. I mean, and you know, we're hearing from all kinds of people. The one theme that I keep hearing, and I want to read this to you, is in asking, you know, people after they say, thank you for digging further, keep digging, and I say, okay, come and talk to me. I get, you know, the amount of retaliation I would face if I were to talk to you would be devastating to me. And so even though that people are really rooting for this investigation, there is still this huge fear.
Do you have any people who are deep throat from the Watergate investigation where that figure didn't want to go public, but he wanted to guide the reporters in the direction? Are you getting some people like that?
I do. I have a couple deep throaters who are sending me information. It was really interesting. Yesterday, I actually had someone who sent me a copy of the Board of Rights manual, and I was sitting there during the boring parts of the commission hearing and reading the actual manual. Well, all of a sudden, Andy Smith comes and sits behind me.
Commander Andy Smith.
Commander Andy Smith comes and sits behind me, and I know that he's looking over my shoulder and he sees me looking at the manual. Well, guess what happens yesterday at the end of the day? All of a sudden, there's an email that goes out that says, media, we're going to make the Board of Rights manual available to everybody out there. Was there a relationship? I don't know. But, you know, does it seem like by getting the information, we're forcing the LAPD to give the information? I think that's happening.
And the Board of Rights hearings, which most of us never paid any attention to until the tragedy of the Christopher Dorner situation, those are not transparent. They're not open to the public. There's a push now, and Phil was talking about that, whether to open it up so that we fully understand what's going on. Will that happen?
Okay, well, so very interesting stuff. First of all, it was open once upon a time. As a matter of fact, if you look at the 2002 Board of Rights manual, it says it is open, and the decision to decide, you know, the person who gets to decide whether they want to make a motion to close it would be the accused, not the board. Then there was a case that actually happened out of San Diego that said that these are private hearings. It's my understanding that LAPD has read into that decision to say that they are closed and private for all purposes, and we're going to close them down. There are other departments who read that court case and say, listen, there is a piece of that hearing that needs to be closed. That's when they go through the officer's personnel file. But the whole hearing doesn't need to be closed. So I'm wondering if they're going to carve out exceptions
Well,
now.
as you sit here right now, will they? What do you think?
I think they should.
Okay. Robin Sachs, more on that coming up, obviously. 8:45.